Angular lets you use your data in components inside templates, and that is what is called data binding. The most common way to use data binding is expressions. We can use this with curly braces. Another way to interacting with your templates is through the use of directives. Directives are a fancy names for commands. These are usually used in your HTML templates and they look like HTML attributes, but with some extra characters. Inside your components, you can set up variables and initialize your values. One of the ways of doing this is called constructor. A constructor is a way of giving values to your variables when the class gets created, otherwise gets constructed. That is why it's called a constructor. Angular can run in different ways. Most of the examples use a variation of JavaScript called TypeScript. This uses a style that clearly defines variable types when they are created. Let's see how that works. First, go to src and then go to app.component.ts. I'm going to minimize this terminal over here. And instead of title that we have here called Welcome to Angular Project, what we're going to do is we're going to create something called query. Okay, and then we're going to set that to a string. And now we're going to create a constructor. So I'm going to say constructor. And then inside that, we can say this dot query. And we'll set that to Avengers. Okay, let's save that. Then in your app.component.html, we're going to get rid of this title over here. And in the label tag, when I hit enter, and here we're going to create a strong tag, and we'll call this as movie name. Okay, and then we're going to set that query with the double curly braces. So here we'll simply call this as query. Let's save that. Here the double curly braces are the expression, and inside that we have our query. But right now it just says Avengers because that is what we initialized it with. Now if you get back to your browser, you can see the movie name says Avengers. That's because that is what we initialized it with. Now in these curly braces, you can add more than just value. We'll look more into that in the future classes. Let's see how to work more with complex data types with binding. For example, let's go to the app.component.ts over here, and we'll declare more variables. For example, we're going to list out the directors of the Avengers. So what we're going to do is right after this Avengers line over here, we're going to create this dot directors. Okay, and then we're going to create that an array. Now we don't have that over here, so we need to declare that. So we can click on quick fix and add declares. Okay, so the directors here is actually an any type. Okay, now inside this, what we're going to do is we're going to add some objects. So for each director, I'm going to set an object. So the first one, I'm going to set that to a name, and then we're going to call that name as Joss Whedon. Okay, then we're going to give a comma, and then I'm going to set a short name, and then we'll set that to Joss Whedon. Okay, and then we'll set another one called awards. Okay, and here we'll set in the awards. So I don't know what awards they got, so let's go to Google and I'm going to type in Avengers directors. Okay, so we got these details and here's the names. So we have Joss Whedon, and the next one is actually we're going to open this in a new tab and let's see what on all the awards they got. So here are the awards. I'm just going to copy this stuff. Okay, and then we're going to paste it over here. Let's do the same thing for other objects. So I'm just going to duplicate this, paste it over here, then get back to the browser. The next director we want is Joe Russo. Just copy that, and then I'm going to replace this with this one, and then we can open that in a new tab. Let's see what awards he got. So this is the one. So I'm just going to copy